Unity3D Junkie, and welcome back to part 6 of the Coin Collector tutorial series. Now, carrying off from last tutorial, this is the level I made using what I taught in the last tutorial. As you can see, I've got the walls here, and the floors, which I'm using is the same model. I've added a few rudimentary lights around, but that's what we're going to be tackling today. We'll actually be adding lights to levels and making them, the textures actually match the light texture I want to use. So first off, as you can see, since in Blender I didn't add any faces to the back, I can actually see through the level from the face that I deleted. If I go around, you can see that there are textures on the other side. This makes it insanely easy to actually create the levels, because you can still see inside the level. Even if you've got roofs and floors and walls, you can still see inside the levels. Now if I click play on this, you see I fall down, look around. This is just a normal jump. If you miss the jump, you can get up this way and go back where you started and just re-jump. And this little level I just created to test some movement basics, really. So if I jump up on here, and over here you can see this is a larger gap. If I was to just do a normal jump, I'll miss, but I can always go back round, and if I hold the sprint key, which I believe is shift, and then hit the jump at the end, I make it. Remember, I just have it down here where you just drop down here to end the level, but I've not actually added that yet. Now in this tutorial we're actually going to tackle the lighting. As you can see, I've literally just got a few lights dotted around the place, and the reason for this is, well, quite simply actually to light the level for testing purposes. But now I've got everything in, I can actually start making these into lights. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove this and this. And as you can see over here in the hierarchy view, I've actually created empty game objects and then just attached all of my level in here and all my lighting in here. That way I can easily distinguish what part I'm actually looking at. Now if I grab a surface 2, which you can see right here, and then I proceed to rotate it, holding control, and rotate it all upside down, and then I'm going to rotate it this way. And as you can see, it looks a bit like that. Now I'm going to drag it up, but as you can see, it's not aligned. I had this problem in the last video tutorial I quite incorrectly fiddled around with this. But if you have the model selected, and then you click edit, snap settings, and you actually click snap all axis with the model selected, it snaps it into place perfectly. And then all I have to do is just hold control and drag it in normal. And then add a component, physics, box collider. Then I can duplicate this, and then I can just drag it into here. Now I want them indented a bit, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate this, then I'm going to rotate it, and edit, snap settings, snap all axis, so it's lined up, and then drag it up. And I need to do that all the way around. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab one of these, duplicate it, and just drag it up. So it's up here. Now with that up there, I'm actually going to assign this a completely different texture. So what I need to do is I need to add a texture in there. Materials, GUI, textures, I think I'll go in here, create folder textures. And then in the GUI and textures, I'm just going to drag this in here. Now I need to add another one. I've literally just got this white texture. It's just white. That's it. It doesn't need to be anything fantastic really. And I could just drag that onto there. And now with that done, if I click the light and drag the light up, about light about there. If I click play and have a look at it, looks a lot better. Actually looks like an actual fixture. Now if I duplicate that around a couple of times, say if what I do is I remove this there, I can select all of this, duplicate it, and then just snap it in. And then this light here, or this here, I can delete. Whoops. No, I can't. Never mind. I'll keep that in there. And this light here, I can move. Center it in here. So little lights. And over here. Since I've got a light here, I think I'm going to delete that light there. And instead I think I'll put it here. I don't mean to delete that light, whoops. The best idea I think is to find out where you're going to be putting your lights. Now I need one up here, and I need one yeah, I can have one here, and I can have one here. And then I'm going to need a light here. And then what I could do is I can go around and duplicate this and move them all around. All you have to do is just move the lights so they're more centered. And move them down a bit. Just so it looks like there's actually a light fixture in there. However, it is worth noting the lights I'm using are point lights. If they don't show up correctly for you, you need to select it to real time. If you select baked, it won't show in the editor. If you click real time, they'll show up. And now if I click play, just to make sure I've got all the lighting in, there's one light, 2, 3, yep, looks to me like I've got all the lights in. There we go, and that's all the lighting. You can add lights on the walls. I mean, I can easily just put the white texture on this wall here and then look white. Oh, white looks kind of grey at the moment, but you see what I mean. Standard. You can say under texture. Which you might want to do in these. So if I select that, select that, select that, just go around selecting all the top of the walls. Well, not the walls, of the where the lights are going to go, and then you just go like this and let texture. Then it looks all white, so it actually looks like the light is coming from. So if we go up here, we have a look. It actually looks like that is a light. That whole thing's a light, which I prefer. I'll leave it like this. It's entirely up to you. You can create light models and then finick around with the light yourself if you want. It's entirely up to you. Now with the lighting in and the level almost done, make sure you save your project. Now if I go in here and select all those new lovely surfaces I just made, and I could drag that in level. Now this level, it will be editing, like these are light enclosures. I think I'm going to be using these a lot in the lab sections. So what I am going to do is I'm going to create all that as a prefab, and then the one down here I'm going to create as a prefab as well. Just to make things slightly easier, say if you want to create another one, you just drag in the prefab and it's done. Now I believe the best way to do this is create an empty. I'm going to call it light lab light 1. Now this lovely one here, I'm going to drag down, drag across, and I need to find exactly where that axis is, so it's right there. So if I drag it down there, that is centered there, but I want it centered completely, so if I drag it there, there you go, it's completely centered now. So now if I select all this, yeah, the light is selected, and I drag it all into the lab light. So the lab light's now all one, so if I was to drag that off, it's all connected. Now what I will do is right click, yeah, whoops, I know what I'm doing. If I go into models, right click, create, prefab, light, lab light 1, and I drag this into here. It's now a prefab. So if I was to say demonstrate, drag this into the level, the prefab's in the level. And if I align it to snap it to all axis, and hopefully I put it in correctly. See? If I drag it down one more, then across, edit. Oh, I know why that didn't work properly. That little light, edit, snap settings, snap all axis. There we go. Now if I drag that back on lab light, and then I drag lab light off, snap settings, snap all axis, and it's still not wanting to cooperate. Still not wanting to cooperate. What if I remove the area light from this? Delete. You don't want to delete. If I drag that out, it really does not want to cooperate. It just want to delete. Right, so I drag the lab light back in. Select the area light, delete the area light off, continue. Lab light 1, go back into there. Now if I edit, snap settings, snap all axis, it really doesn't want to cooperate. I don't think it was a light actually. Right. Oh, I know why it's doing that. I completely removed the light, didn't I? Oh, fun and games. Let's have a look, see where that is. Edit, snap settings, snap all axis on that light. If I drag it over one, there we go. Actually, I think I'm going to drag that down one. There we go. And make sure it is snapped. Now where's that prefab that I had? Lab light 1. If I delete that off, and then just select what I, whoops. That is the prefab, whoops. Now if I wanna and then I select that light as well. Yeah, that is that light, isn't it? Yeah. Oh, that's why. Oh, I hate this. Completely delete that. And I'm going to have to copy this over. I'm working on this. If I snap, edit, snap settings, snap all axis on that. Then I edit, game object, sorry, create 3D, create empty. What position is that? 24, 38, 31. So empty game object. I prefer creating prefabs when they're all zeroed. Edit, snap settings, snap all access. And that should all be snapped. So if I select all of this now, and drag that into the game object and call that game object light lab 1. And then I drag that onto the prefab and replace anyway. And hopefully this should actually do what I want it to do. So if I drag that one there, edit, snap settings, snap all axes. Ooh, where are you? You're there. Nope, you're not. You're that one there. Where are you in relation to this? Up one, across one, across one. There you go. That actually snapped correctly. Now, yeah, make sure everything that you're making in the prefab is actually snapped to the grid, otherwise it will be a bit wonky. And now with that done, you could basically create new labs. It's entirely up to you. You can have little walkways over here, which are snapped as well. You can have these little ledges that the player has to jump across. You can have these as a prefab. You can have little stairs like this as a prefab, so all you have to do is just drag the prefab in. So you just have loads of prefabs. What's this surface 2 I'm selected right here? Oh, there it is. And I need to drag that into level. There we go. And now it's all nice. So that's the lighting done. In the next tutorial I will be creating a whole new level for the next tutorial. The next tutorial will include like little, slightly little hazards, but I believe, yeah, I'll be creating a finishing level when the player goes down here, so it changes level first. And then the next tutorial I'll also add some little triggers, so when you hit it, say when you're here and you walk into this trigger, it comes up saying press forward and the jump key to clear this gap, and then when you go around it says press sprint and jump to clear this. That way you've got some tutorial messages that pop up on the screen as well. Anyway, thank you all for watching. I've been TJ, see you next time. Goodbye.